There is a new meta arriving in World of Tanks Blitz, and it's not autoloaders, it's not mediums or even heavies, it's tank destroyers. Yes, you heard that right. Out of the 20 top performing vehicles for average players, tank destroyers are taking 9 of the slots. Yes, that is right. 50% of the top performing vehicles are tank destroyers, ranging from the E4 to the Hori, 263, V4, FE217 Badger, T110E3, 113 GFT, and the Minnow, which I made a video featuring earlier today. It's just crazy to see how Wargaming has absolutely changed the matchmaker by mega buffing all of the tank destroyers in the later updates. I mean, the 113 GFT got a massive armor update to a point where I believe it is fully overpowered now. E3 got more HP on a vehicle that already has incredible armor. The Badger, well, it now has Hesh, which is kind of insane, and it's always been a stupid vehicle. V4, I don't need to really explain. The 263 now has penetration and no weak spots on the hull. The Hori's just stupid. Oh, and I missed the Yag. And yeah, the Yag after it got tungsten is also pretty dang stupid, especially with the 2300 HP it can have. Now, I should mention that for skilled players, tank destroyers are not the top performers. The IS-7, T-62A, STB, Chieftain, and FE2 and 5B, even the Batchat are all doing better. Something you always have to keep in mind is that skilled players are going to do better in tanks that usually have turrets and have mobility and gun depression, which is not what tank destroyers usually feature. A lot of the heavily armored tank destroyers either don't feature turrets or they don't feature a lot of mobility. You almost never see a combination of both. I guess the closest we'll get is the XM66F, which could be a contender for the top performing vehicle, but as of right now, Blitz Analysis doesn't have the stats on that vehicle because it was just released a couple months ago. But for the most part, if you're a skilled player, TDs are never going to be the most influential. They're just not great at carrying late game situations. But for the average player, being able to put in that impact early game is what allows these vehicles to become such a high performer and why the meta has completely changed. It's kind of insane. I mean, I never ever thought tank destroyers would be taking over the game. Is this good or bad for the game? That is the main question, and I personally believe that it's bad for the game. Tank destroyers' main role is to sit at the back of the map. And yes, there are some frontline TDs like the E3 and the Minnow, which are meant to be able to fight heavies, but they're usually not supposed to be able to beat heavies one-on-one without support from teammates. However, now I would be more confident in beating heavies when it comes to vehicles like the E4 than I would in a lot of tier 10 heavies, or an XM66F, or an E3. And it's becoming to a point where why even bother driving heavies when you can drive TDs? This is making the battles perform much, much shorter, because now you're having tank destroyers that are doing the role of what normally would be for heavies. Now that was pretty nasty. I don't know why that WZ played that maneuver, but hey, 745 damage shot into their light tank, and because their light tank decided to go low, it means that their team has already lost the game because the 62A and T22 medium are severely outnumbered. What a crazy WZ-132 player. Alright, well, the E4 is, in my opinion, one of the strongest out of the TDs. While it is the least performing out of the 20, I think that's also because it requires just a bit more brain cells to work than the others. But in terms of capabilities, this vehicle is nasty. The tank features a semi-traversable turret, which can go a decent chunk to the left and to the right. Not only does it have a turret, but it also has a very, very chunky alpha. We also have an E50 who's just kind of getting in our way, but we still got a shot out for 618. You'll notice this tank also has crazy fast DPM. Unfortunately, everybody on our team's just getting in our way. Alright, well, let's aim it on the 62A. There you go. Man, what is going on this game, guys? What am I witnessing here, bro? Alright, well, I doubt we're going to get any damage into the Type 71 just because of what's going on. Well, maybe we will. There you go, 370. Holy crap. Our team's like a bunch of frickin' piranhas. I'm just trying to swim in the water, and they're like, "Nya." I can't even breathe. I don't know what the heck's going on here. This is a classic example, though, of World of Tanks teams now. This is also a class example of why you shouldn't go down on Middleburg, but hey, what do I know? I've only got like 90,000 games at this point. There you go, nice shot into the lower plate of the AMX. I don't think that player enjoyed it, but we're going to move on up. I think you can see why the E4 feels so dang powerful. I mean, the gun just freaking slaps, and when you pair that with a shell that has so much pen, doesn't really care about your armor, I mean, we're doing pretty good so far. Do you see how fast this thing reloads as well? It's kind of insane. We got a little bit longer on our reload, and we're going to aim it on the back engine compartment of the E4 and deal 962 damage. So even in this insane battle, where our team literally dominated in just about 2 minutes, we were still able to get a victory and deal 4,400 damage. I'm fairly confident if I was in a 60 TP, an E100, or basically any other tier 10, I would not have been able to deal this much. But it shows just the capabilities that a vehicle like the E4 can have and why tank destroyers are so insane. And you swap the table, we can pull out another American TD, the XM66F. This is just the latest released vehicle, and this is another great example of just how TDs can dominate the battlefield. Well, let's see what the XM can do. We are on New Bay, which is an alright map. We need gun depression to work this bridge, and guess what? This tank has 10 degrees of it. We also have mobility, so really depends on which way our team goes. I'm going to ping up the bridge, and we'll see if anybody on our team supports us. Of course, the 30B, our medium, is telling everybody to go to park. Whoa, we love teammates. No, we don't. I lied. Alright, well, E50M's off to the side, and we'll see. If the E50M's on the side, I guarantee he's not alone, and we're going to find out. Just going to wait here, pre-aim the shot. Nobody stepped in the base B yet, which is a little sussler, not going to lie. But they also have a bunch of 183s, which is pretty easy to deal with, to be completely real. 183 already got shot. We're just going to move on up. Let's see, what is this E50M doing? The world will never know. We shoot him once in the lower plate for 368, and he's dead. Alright, well that was pretty easy so far. Nobody stepped in the base B. I don't even know what the enemy team's doing, to be real, but there you go. We got a bounce from an IS-7 on the side. Now we're going to load into heat, and bonk. There you go. Nice 366 damage shot. We've got our adrenaline on. This vehicle features incredible levels of DPM, which means we can get a second shell into his tank. Now we just back on up. We can aim it on the side of the 183. He's just going to do a classic 183 maneuver and sit directly in the open. Our adrenaline's going to keep ticking on and on and on. Oh, really? That's very, very lame. Alright, well, at this point, it's already looking like a pretty easy win, I'm not gonna lie. It's not because of our tank destroyer this game, though. This enemy team is just dookie, bro. I don't know what these games are, but holy bad. Some of the worst teams I've ever seen. Alright, let's aim it on the 263. There you go, nice 369 damage shell into his vehicle. And 263 has basically stuck himself in that corner there, so I'm not going to worry about him. The 183's dead, so all they have left is two vehicles. I'm sorry, one vehicle. And he's going to run to the Sheridan. Well, maybe he's going to run right into our POV, and there you go. Nice shot into his tank. The Sheridan bonks him, and we don't get the kill, but I mean, that was just a 7-0. Well, I think my point stands. Tank destroyers are incredibly dominant, and they kind of are just taking over the matchmaker. I mean, we only got out 2,300 that game, but to be fair, our whole team did about 2,300, highest was 2,800, so that was just a farm fest from everybody there. I don't know what these teams are anymore, guys. Oh well, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. I just wanted to make it as a quick PSA that tank destroyers are the new it. And, I mean, autoloaders are still insane. If you drive a T-57 heavy or any type of autoloader, you're still going to dominate. But it doesn't take away from the fact that TDs are insanely dangerous. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.